Travel Vlog April 8, 2025. I arrived in Tokyo on April 7, 2025, Sunday from JFK, New York City. During the following day, April 8th, Monday, I visited Mount Fuji. First, let me introduce Mount Fuji to you. And then I introduce the most popular two choices to watch Mt. Fuji. First popular choice is to take the JR Limited Express Fuji Excursion from Shinjuku Station in Tokyo directly to Arekurayama Sengen Park. I can see Mt. Fuji on the top hill. The second popular choice is to take a Shinkansen bullet train from Tokyo to Mishima Station, then transfer to a bus to reach the Lake Kawaguchiko. I can take a cable car to the top of hill to watch Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is an active stratovolcano located on the Japanese island of Honshu, with a summit elevation of 3,776.24 meters, 12,389 feet 3 inches. It is the highest mountain in Japan, the second highest volcano located on an island in Asia, after Mount Kerinci on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, and seventh highest peak of an island on Earth. Mount Fuji last erupted from 1707 to 1708. The mountain is located about 100 kilometers, 62 miles, southwest of Tokyo, and is visible from the Japanese capital on clear days. Mount Fuji's exceptionally symmetrical cone, which is covered in snow for about 5 months of the year, is commonly used as a cultural icon of Japan and is frequently depicted in art and photography, as well as visited by sightseers, hikers, and mountain climbers. Mount Fuji is one of Japan's 3 holy mountains, Sanryuzen, along with Mount Tate and Mount Haku. It is a special place of scenic beauty and one of Japan's historic sites. It was added to the World Heritage List as a cultural site on June 22, 2013. According to UNESCO, Mount Fuji has inspired artists and poets and been the object of pilgrimage for centuries. UNESCO recognizes 25 sites of cultural interest within the Mount Fuji locality. These 25 locations include the mountain and the Shinto shrine, Fuji Senhangu Sengen Taisha. Etymology. The current kanji for Mount Fuji, and mean wealth or abundant, and man of status respectively. However, the origins of the spelling and the name Fuji continue to be debated. Hirata Atsutane, a Japanese classical scholar in the Edo period, speculated that the name is from a word meaning a mountain standing up shapely as an ear of a rice plant. British missionary John Batchelor, 1855 to 1944, argued that the name is from the Ainu word for fire, of the fire deity Kamui Fuchi, which was denied by Japanese linguist Kyosuke Kindaichi on the grounds of phonetic development. It is also pointed out that Huchi means an old woman, and ape is the word for fire, Ape Huchi Kamui being the fire deity. Research on the distribution of place names that include Fuji also suggests the origin of the word Fuji is in the Yamato language rather than Ainu. Japanese toponymist Kanji Kagami argued that the name has the same root as wisteria and rainbow and came from its long well-shaped slope. How to watch Mount Fuji. The first choice. From the top of Arekurayama Sengen Park to watch Mount Fuji. Arekurayama Sengen Park is a block park located at 3353 Arekura, Fuji Yoshida, Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan. Installed in October 1959. Located on the hillside of Mount Arekura, Japanese. It covers an area of about 4.3 hectares. It is popular as a famous scenic spot where you can see Mount Fuji, a red 5-story pagoda, and cherry blossom trees briefly. Sengoku Daikaisen Arekura Fuji Sengen Shrine, Japanese, is enshrined, and Mount Arekura is a sacred area. There are about 650 cherry blossoms and a memorial tower for the war dead in the park. Landscape. It is a park with a panoramic view of Fuji Yoshida City and Mount Fuji, and is famous for its photographs of the 5-story pagoda, a pagoda for the war dead, not a stupa, cherry blossoms, and Mount Fuji. It was ranked 10th among the 100 views with Mount Fuji, announced by the Japanese Ministry of the Environment. It has also been published in Lufthansa's in-flight magazine and textbooks used in Thai compulsory education courses, and became the cover of the 4th revised edition of Michelin Green Guide Japan. Has received 2 ratings. Fuji Shinkansen Shimbun considers that the number of foreign visitors to temples and shrines around Mount Fuji has increased due to this and the influence of Mount Fuji's registration as a World Heritage Site. Let me continue to introduce Mount Fuji to you. Aerial panorama of Mount Fuji with Saiko Ayashino-Sato Nenba in the foreground. June 2023. Modern linguist Alexander Vavin proposes an alternative hypothesis based on Old Japanese reading. The word may have been borrowed from Eastern Old Japanese, meaning fire master. Variations. In English, the mountain is known as Mount Fuji. Some sources refer to it as Fuji-san, Fujiyama, or, redundantly, Mount Fujiyama. Japanese speakers refer to the mountain as Fuji-san. This san is not the honorific suffix used with people's names, such as Watanabe-san, but the Sino-Japanese reading of the character Yama used in Sino-Japanese compounds. In Nihon Shiki and Kunrei Shiki romanization, the name is transliterated as Huzi. History. Mount Fuji is an attractive volcanic cone. It has been a frequent subject of Japanese art, especially after 1600, when Edo became the capital, and people saw the mountain while traveling on the Takeda Road. According to the historian H. Byron Earhart, in medieval times it eventually came to be seen by Japanese as the #1 mountain of the known world of the 3 countries of India, China, and Japan. The mountain is mentioned in Japanese literature throughout the ages and is the subject of many poems. The summit has been thought of as sacred since ancient times and was therefore forbidden to women. It was not until 1872 that the Japanese government issued an edict stating, "Any remaining practices of female exclusion on shrine and temple lands shall be immediately abolished, and mountain climbing for worship, etc., shall be permitted." Tatsu Takayama, a Japanese woman, became the first woman on record to summit Mount Fuji in the fall of 1832. Ancient samurai used the base of the mountain as a remote training area, near the present-day town of Gotemba. The shogun Minamoto no Yoritomo held Yabusame archery contests in the area in the early Kamakura period. The first ascent by a foreigner was by Sir Rutherford Alcock in September 1860, who ascended the mountain in 8 hours and descended in 3 hours. 427 Alcock's brief narrative in the capital of the Tycoon was the first widely disseminated description of the mountain in the West. 421 to 27 Lady Fanny Parkes, the wife of British Ambassador Sir Harry Parkes, was the first non-Japanese woman to ascend Mount Fuji in 1867. Photographer Felix Beato climbed Mount Fuji 2 years later. On March 5, 1966, BOSC Flight 911, a Boeing 707, broke up in flight and crashed near the Mount Fuji Gotemba New 5th Station shortly after departure from Tokyo International Airport. All 113 passengers and 11 crew members died in the disaster, which was attributed to the extreme clear air turbulence caused by lee waves downwind of the mountain. There is a memorial for the crash victims a short distance down from the Gotemba New 5th Station. Today, Mount Fuji is an international destination for tourism and mountain climbing. In the early 20th century, populist educator Frederick Starr's Chautauqua lectures about his several ascents of Mount Fuji. The second popular choice is to take a Shinkansen bullet train from Tokyo to Mishima Station, then transfer to a bus to reach the Lake Kawaguchiko. I can take a cable car to the top of hill to watch Mt. Fuji. Lake Kawaguchiko is the most easily accessible of the Fuji 5 lakes with train and direct bus connections to Tokyo. A hot spring resort town with various tourist attractions and views of Mount Fuji is located around the lake's eastern end, while the northern and western shores are mostly undeveloped. The best views of Mount Fuji can be enjoyed from the lake's northern shores and are particularly breathtaking during the cherry blossom season around mid-April and the autumn colors around the first half of November. One of the nicest spots for cherry blossoms is the seaside promenade near the Kawaguchiko Music Forest, while photographers will enjoy the Momiji Tunnel for autumn colors, a maple tree-covered road section further west. Be warned that even though Kawaguchiko is located right at the base of Mount Fuji, the mountain is not always visible because of clouds. Visibility tends to be best in the early mornings, usually before 9 a.m., and in the late afternoons, while clouds often obstruct the view during daytime, even on days with fair weather, and especially during the hazy summer. Among the wide range of tourist attractions available around Lake Kawaguchiko are hot spring baths, Museums, the Fuji Q amusement park, boat tours, and a ropeway leading up a small mountain. Kawaguchiko is also a good base for climbing Mount Fuji. Although most people start their ascent from Fuji Subaru Line 5th station, halfway up the mountain these days. Below is a list of some of the tourist attractions around Lake Kawaguchiko. Ropeway, also called cable car. Mount Fuji Panoramic Ropeway. Hours, 9 to 1600 hours, until 1700 hours on weekends and holidays. Departures every 5 to 10 minutes. Closed, no closing days. Admission, 900 yen, round trip, 500 yen one way. The Mount Fuji Panoramic Ropeway ascends to an observation point near the summit of Mount Tenjo, from where Lake Kawaguchiko and Mount Fuji can be seen. The ropeway is one endpoint of the popular day hike to Mount Mitsutoge. Museums. Kubota Ichika Museum. See the Kubota Ichika Museum page for admission details. A unique museum that displays kimono created by Kubota Ichiku, who spent his lifetime reviving the lost art of Tsujigahana silk dyeing. The kimono on display depict themes of nature and the cosmos, and include his unfinished masterpiece, Symphony of Light, comprised of 80 kimono that together form a picture of Mount Fuji. Kawaguchiko Museum of Art. Hours, 9:30 to 1700 hours. Entry, until 16:30. Closed, Tuesdays, New Year holidays. Admission, 800 yen. The Kawaguchiko Museum of Art houses temporary exhibitions of Japanese and foreign modern artists, as well as a small permanent collection of paintings and photographs featuring Mount Fuji. Kawaguchiko Music Forest. See the Kawaguchiko Music Forest page for admission details. More theme park than museum, the Kawaguchiko Music Forest is devoted to automatic musical instruments, such as music boxes and mechanical organs. The beautifully designed grounds with European-styled gardens have nice views of Mount Fuji and are operated by the Ukai Group, which also runs the glass forest in Hakone.
আমি তো এই বক্সের অনুপ্রবেশ আছে এটা বক্স এটা বক্স দাদা ওরা ওই যে আইনি ওই যে ট্র্যাক করে নামছে এখানে উঠছি ট্র্যাকিং করে ওই যে দেখ
시트 타는